All right, welcome back. Today we are doing essentially drumming fundamentals for the drum set. Um, essentially, we're doing the most basic rhythms and then a little bit of fun stuff at the end. Well, fun for me. If you care about it, you can watch it, I suppose, but it's fun for me. It's improv, so sorry to spoil. Anyways, point being is, welcome. If you are new to drumming, then hello. You made a good choice. You could have chose a woodwind instrument. You could have chose a brass instrument. But no, you decided you wanted to go the long, hard route of percussion. Not that the other ones aren't hard to do. Um, I twiddled, fiddled. I messed around with trombone for a little bit. It wasn't that bad, but to get to the level you have to be to play professional pieces, that's a workout. And I never got to professional pieces, so Anyways, today we are focusing on really three, but possibly four main drum rhythms that are really simple to practice. And I know a lot of people, when they get into the drumming genre, at least for me and some others, it was, oh, I want to play rock music. So here's the three most common rock beats you will hear. Starting with the first one, it will be the bass, or also known as kick, on 1 and 3. Pretty much, your bass will hit on 1, 3, snare on 2 and 4, with hi-hat filling out the whole thing with 8 notes. Sounds a little like something like this. And that's that. Next up is bass, or kick, on 1, 3, and. So it's self-explanatory. There's 4 beats in a measure. Maybe you don't know. Anyways, let's get to that one. So that is essentially what that should sound like. The end of that is what we in the drumming world call a fill, which is, from what I've understood from teachers and whatnot in the past, a fill is pretty much anything off the main rhythm. So you're that, and then you just take up space in between, and it could be for a transition, it could be for just like a small little. So it could be for different things, just to hype up the music, but that's that. Next up is the 16th note based one, but before that, let's do one more 8th note based one, which is 1N, 3N, 1N, 3N. So, yeah. Anyways, that one I haven't really heard that much, but it is quote unquote a fundamental groove. You don't really see that much. At least I don't see it that much, and I don't really hear it being played much in a lot of the songs that I do. So our 16th note one, there's a couple different ways you can play it. You can play it with one hand, which will be cross-handed, open-handed, or you can do it alternating, which just uses both sticks. So we'll start with the alternating sticks first. Hopefully that was long enough as a sample to tell what that was. But yeah, that's one way you can do it. And then if you're right-handed, this will be easier to do with your right hand. If you're left-handed and you've been trained with your left hand as a drummer, then left-handed will be easier, or open-handed, what we call it. So it just kind of depends, because I was left-handed, but I was trained right hand, so that's just naturally easier to me. So whatever is easier to you, I mean, obviously I recommend alternating, but this takes away that one singular beat. Well, technically, two singular beats out of the entire phrase that take it off hi-hat. So it's a personal choice if you want to do it that way, but if you want to save hands, go for the distance. Alternating is the way to do it. If you want to churn and burn, just use one hand. So. So that was about a measure on each, I think, maybe more. But still, point being is, if you want to take out those two singular beats of snare, where you have to alternate like 1 and 2, because you're missing a hi-hat on 2 and 4. So that's just a personal preference. Now, when we put stuff together, you can get a little funky with it. You can do a lot of stuff with fills and stuff in between. I know this was a lot of talking. I'll probably just do a quick one as well, so you can just look through stuff very quickly. But essentially what we are doing is mixing a bunch of rhythms together to create a little bit of a drum piece, just freestyle. Freestyles are fun, but if you are still kind of inexperienced, you will be mad at yourself, you will kick yourself in the face several times, you will just toss your sticks up in the air and be like, I'm done. Who likes drumming? Nobody. But that's not the best way to think about it. The best way to think about it is just go slow to begin with, which is amazing drumming advice if you've never heard it. So go slow whenever you start something. As time progresses, of course, you can speed up, but do not do it until you have the checklist down, like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Me personally, I'm still having to do that. And, you know, with the power of editing, I could erase my mistakes, but I don't know really how to edit that well. So there's that, and plus, I think it's better to see a drummer slowly over time improve, because when you're just seeing that picture perfect image, like, oh my gosh, that drummer dude did amazing fills, how'd he do it? And you're like, I'm gonna play this now. And then you just practice for maybe 5 minutes. You're like, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, ah! And then you're like, it's too hard, so you quit. That's what I used to do, except minus the screaming and whatnot. I just forcefully put my sticks down and go on my merry way. So, with that being said, let's get to combining some of these rhythms. They won't be exactly as you heard them being played. I'm going to play around with where the snare beats hit, where some of the bass kicks hit. But it should sound fairly similar, or you should be able to point out when I'm doing what. Real quick, before I do that, I actually want to do one more 16th note pattern thing that's fun to do. So if you're wanting to train how quick you can get back to the hi-hat, which obviously you shouldn't do that. I mean, maybe you could, but there's a song where it goes. And that's just a really fun 16th note pattern to fill out. So, of course, at that point, you're not getting any hi-hat sound unless you're able to just keep that beat steady the entire time. But I recommend if you do that, take it slow first and speed it up later, as you would anything. Now, on to the fun part. Me screwing around and, I don't know, just seeing where it takes us. yeah, so reason why I said I don't think drummers as a whole should be like clipping out our mistakes is because obviously us as drummers we screw up. We're not always like, oh, I'm the best. Like you can very easily get disowned very quickly by someone that's put the time and practice in. But also, I will say that if you just aren't happy with where you're at the moment, don't beat yourself down about it. Always work yourself up, and over time, who knows, you'll be able to play those fills and licks. Obviously, whenever I like cover a song, I haven't posted any covers yet. I'm working on that, obtaining music legally so I can clip stuff out like, the drums and whatnot. So while I'm working on that to do drum covers, you just get drum lessons. So if any of this helped, please leave a shout out in the comments or like and maybe even subscribe if you want to see stuff in the future. Right now I'm so sorry if the audio is bad. It might be using an earbud microphone, it might be using the phone microphone. It's using a microphone, I'll tell you that. And the camera quality, also a phone, but it's good. We're working ourselves up. Right now, working on getting that audio interface, working on getting those mics and mic stands, working on getting a setup going to where I can actually record without it being staticky. I don't know if this is staticky anyways, by the way. So you'll know if this was a wasted 13 minutes for me and I just do worst mistake as the caption, because regardless, this is getting posted. I don't feel like, not posting it now. Anyways, as I said, leave a shout out in the comments if it helped you at all. Maybe it didn't, who knows. If it didn't, then sorry, maybe next time. And huge help would be if you have tips, feel free to send them. So, yeah, and then also, if you have any covers you want me to do, post those in the comment too. Thanks. Have a swell day. This has been fun. Should do it again.